Good morning, everybody. Good morning, grandmas. We're going to work on the Lambo today. I had an error code P3006 and the triangle of death pop up on this 2002 Generation 1 Prius. If you want to check out that video, specifically when the error code popped up, click the link in the corner and that'll take you to that video. If you want to see more information about the Prius, about when I bought it and everything, there's another video I made about that. You can check it out. But today we're going to be working on the battery rebuild or whatever. I've never done this before. This is a contribution to the world to see what works and what doesn't, because I don't know if this will 100% work, but hopefully it will. And if you haven't already, please give the video a thumbs up for contributing to society. Thanks, and let's get into it. And as a disclaimer, you do run your own risks of injury or death when working with hybrid vehicles. So yeah, I'm not liable for anything. Know your own skill level, know your safety precautions. I'm not liable for it. But anyways, so here's what the car is doing right now. We crank it up, everything works. It does work, it still drives, but that pops up. Check engine light, triangle of death. And then when we ran the OBD scanner, that was the code that it gave. And that's it. Researching, I found out that it's a hybrid battery problem. And I went ahead and scooped up 4 battery cells off of eBay. I think I paid $100 for all 4. Maybe I paid $75. I can't exactly remember. This is before I went to Europe. I ordered these and they just took forever to get here. So I never got to work on the project until now. So we're gonna check the volts on these bad boys. So this is what the cells look like out of the packaging that eBay gave me. Supposedly they've been reconditioned or they're working cells, they're good cells. And now we're going to test the volts with a voltmeter and kind of see what they read. Then going to be difficult to do just with 2 hands in the camera, so it's going to be a little bit of balancing, I think. First one reads 7.5 volts. Second one reads 7.5 volts. All right. Third one reads 7.47 volts. And my fourth one reads 7.5 volts. So I guess they've already been put to 7.5 volts. And shout out again to Mike Lamb in the comments. He's been going back and forth with me with Prius fixing stuff. And he recommended me to get this. This is a V-Peak OBD2 Bluetooth scanner. So I will link to this in the description. It was not very expensive, I forget. It was like maybe $10 or $20. I bought it before I went to Europe. And we put it in the OBD slot there. It's lighting up. Downloaded Dr. Prius on my phone. I have this Dr. Prius app, and then I'll show you guys kind of what the Dr. Prius stuff is doing. The state of charges and whatnot. Let me see. So we connect to the OBD2. Right now the engine is on, and then this is what's going on. Battery monitor, and it should be pulling some data. There it goes. Okay, so this is the state of the battery pack right now without the motor going. So it looks like down there at the bottom, number 8, number 13, and number 15 are lower than the rest. So I'm guessing there's going to be a cell, one unit or both units within each of those. I think it's 19 pairs of 2. Okay, the motor just kicked on. Let's see what happens. Okay, everything jumps up. And then those 3 again are giving me the yellow reading, which means the volts are like going too high now. And my delta SOC is 52%, which is like way off than what it should be. Indicating that there's something wrong with number 8, 13, and 15. And probably number 1 is going to go bad at some point, because that one looks a little bit out of the normal ranges also. And then there's my internal resistance down there. Let's see when it kicks off again. It starts to kind of balance out. Goes green. See, 1 just kind of throws off. 1's out there, so I might want to check the volts on 1 and see if something happens. But yeah, look at that. Something's definitely wrong with the packs. So it's 19, I think they call them modules of 2 different cells. They're all in the battery pack in the back under the seat. So I'm gonna tear that down and knock out a couple cells, put in some new cells, and then hopefully she will work. I'm not gonna go crazy on the conditioning and balancing stuff. I'm just gonna get out the old cells, put in the ones from eBay, and see if that works. If it doesn't, I'm probably gonna go the route of reconditioned battery from a battery rebuilder. I don't think I'm gonna recondition them myself, and then we'll see what happens. This Prius did have the previous owner had an amp in their, an amp or a sub in the back, which is kind of crazy. So I'm yanking all the stuff out. I'm not going to show my removal of everything. I'm just gonna get to the battery, but I will link to the video that I used to remove the stuff, rather than boring everybody with that. So you can just watch that video, get to your battery, and then this is mostly for just informative purposes of what I'm doing, because I don't think there's that much documentation on YouTube, more so in the Prius chats, but not so much on YouTube about these kind of processes. So yeah, watch the video on how to take the battery out, and then I'll catch back up with you guys when we're there. The front seats weren't hard to get out. You just lift, and there's 2 mounting points, no bolts for the bottom, and then the top sides, there's 3 bolts, one on the side here, one right there. They're all next to the seat belts, and then one over here on a seat belt, and I just pulled those out. And then you just lift it out. There's 3 hooks, so you just kind of guide the seat out and pull it, and then move the seat belts to the side. We got them out. It took about 5 minutes. Pretty easy. There was like a black bolt, and then there was a silver bolt, and then there was a gold, silver, gold. On the other side, it's gold, I guess, goes into the frame, and then silver. Silver is just for the battery cover. All right, so the battery's almost out. I originally was trying to get it to go that way, but you kind of have to shift it this way and then through the trunk because of this venting mechanism right here, I think has something to do with it. So yeah, make sure you go like shift it over little by little and then getting out. I am doing this all by myself, and it's a pretty heavy battery. It's just awkward. It's like super awkward getting around it, and I am wearing gloves, not for the electricity, but for the sharpness of the battery. So, and I am wearing my mechanic shoes. The goal is not to scratch up the inside of this, which is going to be nearly impossible because this sucker's so freaking heavy. It's literally probably close to 100, if not more, pounds, but we got it. All right, battery's out. It's now a Corolla, right? No, just kidding. And it's heavy. Whew. All right, took out a bunch of bolts that were bolting things into the sides, and I think I can now lift off this. There was one bolt over here in the corner. It was a Torx, and I didn't really have the right tool, or so I didn't think I did, and I did luckily have the right size screwdriver. It was a TE30, and it was loose enough to get out, so that was a score. Now we are in the battery, and I definitely see some explosions, some chemicals, some corrosion. Oh, yeah, look at that. That probably something's going on because there's some juice coming out of there. Popped off the bus bar covers. Look at that. That is nasty. What is all that blue? Corrosion. Look at that. Corrosion there, corrosion there, corrosion there. It's like nasty. It's like blue. It's Smurf blue. Especially that stuff. It's like really Smurfy. And then here's the other side. Corrosion, corrosion, blue, corrosion, corrosion. I think that corrosion is even from that corrosion. Nasty corrosion. Next logical step, I'm gonna take off all of these bus bars with an 8mm. I guess I need to clean these too. Well, all the nuts, the bus bars, everything, they're all gonna be taken off and placed in here, and we're gonna clean them up. So that's what we're gonna do. All the bolts are off. I'm starting to remove the bus bars from this side, and they're jammed in there underneath this thing. Easiest way to get these bus bars out, you press down right here and it'll click, and then I hook this in here and it kind of pull it down and towards me and it pops right out. And we got to get all these guys out, and they are nasty. Check that out. That is like Smurf blue. Beyond like anything. So did my battery fail, or was it copper in between it that caused them to just not work correctly? And then, yeah, like, is this corrosion the cause of the failure, or is it actually the batteries? I don't know. Chucking vinegar and salt in here. Doing some chemistry. Look at that. Hopefully it'll clean these guys up. So we're gonna let that beautiful blue simmer while we're gonna check the volts on this bad boy. I'm not gonna make you look at all the volts, but I checked them all, and this one was 7 something, this one was 6 something, and this one is 6 something. So either I need to deep cycle them to get them to come back to life, or I'm just gonna bang them out and put in new ones, which I think I'm gonna do with the ones I got from eBay right there. But it's really hard to do this with the camera. There's our voltmeter. Most of the batteries are reading 8.01 or 8.05, and then here's a dead one reading 6.79, and then we'll go to another good one, right? Oops. 8.01, and another one 8.01. 8.01. So yeah, they're reading between 8.1 to 8.01, and then the dead ones are reading like 6 or 7, and I marked those. I got 3 of them that are not reading right. But is it the failure from the batteries, failure from the bus bar? What is it? I don't really know, but we're just gonna work it, put it together. All my eBay cells came at 7.5 volts, so I'm using this C240 Duo to charge them up to 8 volts or 8.1 volts right now. It's a slow trickle charge, so this might take me an hour or so to get them all charged up, but once we get them charged up, we'll put them in. This is pretty important. I figured out after the fact, the battery needs to be off the ground, because all of these bolts I think have to come out, because you have to replace the cells, and to get to the cells you got to replace the bolts, and yeah, they got to be, you got to have it hanging off. So I have these buckets, and then I'll shift it to the left, shift it to the right, and I'll be able to get all the bolts out and then remove the cells in order to get to the bad cells and put the good cells back in or whatever. This was kind of a tricky part, so I pretty much had to take all the bolts up to the one that I'm removing, the farthest one over there, and I numbered them 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 3, 3, 3, just in case, I don't know, in case something, because apparently they're in pairs. Loosened up this thing. There was 2 bolts on the top, 2 bolts on the bottom. I loosened up the rails and then just kind of shook them until I was able to wiggle out the bad cell. And I did undo the tubes too. So this is apparently, it's different than these. I wonder if it makes a difference for me to put in one of these cells. Huh. Hopefully not. Something interesting I found out just now is that these are Generation 1.5 cells with the metal on the outside, and what I have are Generation 1 cells. So, all of these are at a 7.5 volt charge, and that's it. They go 7.5 to 7.9, I think, and then everything else in here is like 8. So I don't know, but I don't know if I should mate. Since 3 of them were bad, I don't know if I should mate 2 of the new generation ones together or just screw them together and see what happens. This is literally an experiment because I can't find any information online about the Gen 1.5 stuff. So, yeah, we'll see. Alright, I'm starting the reassembly of everything. I'm going to put on the bus bars covered in dielectric grease, and that's supposed to help, I guess, with corrosion, and that'll take some time. I already bolted all the modules back in. There is a variance of the new modules being 7.5 volts. I might try to charge them up as high as possible before putting them all together. I'm just covering it in dielectric grease and then sliding it under that thing. It goes under, and then you just kind of press on the center of it. It's a lot harder to do one-handed, and it just goes right in just like that. I'm doing that to all of those, so bear with me. All right, everything is pretty much back together other than the covers on this side. Make sure you do all the tubes, the sensors. If you did the sensors, you tighten up that end. All good. All the screws underneath, all the bolts and the bus bars on the top, all the nuts and the bus bars on the top, all that. And then these covers go on something like this, I think. All right, the case is back on, battery's back in. Sucker's like 150 or 170 pounds or something. So it's best to do it with two people. Once it's in, I'm gonna shimmy it a little bit. I think that side has to go in first, and then that side, and then hopefully connect everything up. Before I bolt it all down, I'll connect everything up and fire it up and see what happens. All right, everything is as back together as I could get it, like the minimum back together. Batteries all hooked up, fans all hooked up. Aux batteries all hooked up. We're gonna turn it on. Hopefully it doesn't explode. Let's do this. And then I'll finish putting it back together. Oh man, I'm so sweaty. This is like the dirtiest the car probably has ever been. All right, she has started. Still have the codes, so that's not good. I wonder if I can connect to the OBD scanner and see what is going on. Connect into the OBD scanner to see if we can see anything about the new battery. All right, so the modules I replaced are better. My delta is better. I'm gonna clear the code and then see if it throws a new code. He's going from Prius to Camry, and then I'm gonna bring it up to Tampa. There's a hybrid shop, and then I'm going to swap it or buy a remanufactured Gen 2 battery, well, Gen 1 battery with Gen 2 cells, and then use that for a core charge. This is actually like after the fact of the whole battery thing. I want to kind of explain what I did because I didn't like bring the camera with me to the hybrid shop. I didn't record me reinstalling that battery. I was just like frustrated with the whole project. You guys saw on Instagram. Basically, I went to the Tampa hybrid shop, bought a refurb battery. It was about 1,200 bucks. I think it comes with a 2, maybe a 3-year warranty. Put that battery in and everything worked fine. But I did forget one step the day before. I was sweaty, I frustrated, and I didn't think of this. There's a little orange safety tab that you take out of the hybrid battery to safely work on the battery, split the volts in half. And when I put it back in to initially test with my rebuild, I didn't put it down all the way, which actually would have kept it from throwing the code, and it probably would have driven around and I would have seen if it threw a code based off of my Delta state of charge. But I didn't get that far because I just kept getting the codes, but it was because I was so stupid. I did not put the tab in the correct position. That simple process of not knowing that the tab would throw the code possibly cost me $1,200, because although there was a little bit of voltage change of those cells, the car might have driven fine for months, if not years, with the rebuilt cells, but we'll never know because I traded the rebuilt pack that I did that day for the Gen 2 cells rebuilt pack from the rebuild company. The car is working fine now. Haven't had any issues with it, so I would say that it's solved. I would definitely attempt to do the rebuild again, but this time I would make sure that the orange safety volt plug, the service plug, I put it back in the correct position next time. It was so stupid. It was the dumbest thing, but thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or comments about the entire process, let me know. Obviously, this is a learning process for me, so if you have tips or tricks, I'm definitely down to hear those. Thank you guys for watching, and I will talk to you in the next video, and we'll do updates on more Prius stuff sometime in the future. We have 3 Priuses, 4 counting my mom's, 5 counting my stepmom's. So we got a lot of Priuses going on. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.